All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to be doing some Twilight luxury photo editing today. I shot some Twilight photos on a listing last night, and then we're going to be going through our interior shots as well, cleaning those up. We also did some aerial photography and stuff like that. So let's get into our photo editing here. All right. First off, we're going to start by doing some of our Twilight stuff here. I got those separated out. Then I'm going to apply my raw adjustments to my photos before I take them in to even get edited at all. Load our setting that we have that we use for our architectural photography stuff. Basically what this does is it does a contrast adjustment, pulls down the highlights, brings up the shadows, gives it a little bit of sharpening on each image, a little bit just to start, and then it's going to go in and clean up our optics on our lens correction information and stuff like that. So let's hit done on that. Give it a second to catch up rendering all of that out real quick there. Basically it gives us, a little bit more dynamic range before we go in. We start adjusting things and everything like that. Okay. And it looks like these came out actually pretty good. We did have a lot of wind last night when we were doing our aerial photography. Let me load these into Photoshop layers. And the only annoying thing about DJI stuff is they just don't order their frames from darkest to lightest. So usually I got to go in and organize everything before we start. Okay. Alright. I'm going to use Instamask here from Raya Pro, and I'm going to have it align my layers because I guarantee for sure we had some movement between our frames. We are going to see some noise in some of these images just because we did have to push our ISO really hard to get our shutter speed up fast enough just because of the wind speed and everything like that. But we will overcome that by running these through Topaz Labs denoise to get rid of some of the noise that's going to show up in these images because of how hard we had to push our ISO. And this one seems kind of like our starting point here. Okay. Maybe go that one after that. Now, because these are only a stop apart, we can basically run these images right into each other using luminance masks, and they're not going to muddy up our image too bad. Let's do our darks first here. See, we brought up the brightness of our image just a little bit. And we're going to get some blurring in our image just because of how strong the wind was and everything like that. I think I'll use this layer to maybe bring back some of our window detail. Definitely going to replace the sky on this one. Okay. Probably what I'm going to do on this mask is I'm just going to have it select orange things. And then if I have to, I can kind of go in and improve that mask. Or we may just have to do window pulls directly. We'll see here. On the levels of our stuff just a little bit, it looks like. And then what I'm also going to do, I'm going to disable this mask. I'm going to have it go in and select my brights. Enable this mask again. And we're going to use our instant mask there. And I'm just going to paint some of this in, just bringing back a little bit more of that detail and those highlights. And that's not looking too bad. That's kind of the mood that I'm going for. I don't think I would use this layer. It's probably just too bright. I don't think I would use that one either. Even to capture that detail up there, I don't think I need it. Let's merge all these together. Okay. Going into my light menu, I always give my images a little bit more contrast. 10 contrast. And then I'm going to push our exposure just a little bit to like taste. Maybe go and just push up our shadows just a little bit. And I might have to turn off my grid lines. Forget where they hide that at. It is a little obnoxious, but well, we'll just leave it. Push our blacks just a little bit. Let's see what information we're going to be pulling down on their house. I don't care too much about this sky, just because it is going to get replaced on this image for a more epic sky. Maybe just bring back a little bit more detail in there. Exposure a little bit. If I wanted to, we could go in and just pull down the luminance of our yellow oranges, and that would give us back quite a bit of detail in there. And maybe come over to our greens and just push the saturation of this and give it a little bit more pop. Go in and do some sharpening on this. Basically, we're just going to try and get it around the edges of stuff. That way we're not sharpening our noise too much. This image was shot at 1600 ISO, so we are going to have to denoise after the fact. Normally we wouldn't do something like that, but when you're when you're out there shooting and you got to get the shot, and you got tools like Topaz Labs, denoise and stuff like that, where you can clean up the noise in your picture. You have options. Maybe even give this a little bit more exposure. Okay, I'm gonna hide all of these here. And we are gonna do some generative fill just so we don't have to lose so much of our image. Let's see what options it's gonna give me on this one. Funny. We're gonna up-res that so it fits in a little bit better. I'm gonna go in and up-res this edge as well. Okay. Make my layers panel a little bit bigger here so I can see a little bit more. We're just gonna merge these together. That way we can go in and do any cleanup. Probably add some fire to that. Put orange fire. And it did not like weed generation prompt, please. That was a perfectly legal prompt. Orange fire, hit fire. Sometimes you gotta fight with Photoshop's AI to get what you want. See, it'll do it. Merge those, and we'll save this out. Call this PSBs. If you're wondering why I save them at PSBs, or just like the way that I was taught, as you save it in its highest format, right? That you could, and then as you go down from like, you know, a PSB to like a JPEG, it's like kind of like jamming a circle through a square. So you want to jam it at its like fullest quality. That way you like lose less quality as you go down. And the question is, there it is. No, there it is, PSB, large format. And eventually we'll kick that out as a JPEG, and we will go in and clean up all of this noise that you see in our mountains and our sky and stuff like that, a little bit in our house there, give it a little bit of sharpening, everything like that. But let's move on to our next one. Label this one done. I'm just going to go in and reorder my files so they're in the correct order from darkest to brightest, so I can kind of figure out our starting point. Maybe have this one as our bottom. Yeah. I'm just going to have to go in and align our layers here. Now let's have it select our darks here. And because these are only a stop apart, we can smash them right into each other without it muddying our image. We'll use this one to pull down our brightness in some of our frames there. So let's go right. It looks like it's really not going to grab a ton of our window, but I think I have our windows right where I want them at. And if we want to, we can go in with camera raw and we could pull down by like 23 points. Get back a little bit more detail. Get those merged. Let's give it some contrast. I'm gonna push my exposure to taste. Make sure it ends up always hitting like 42 right in there. So I just want that like Twilighty kind of look to it. Push up our shadows a little bit. It still has that dark kind of feel. Our blacks, taste. Let's see how our highlights are looking. We can pull down a little bit. Because they're not killer. We go into our illuminance channel. Pull down on this, maybe get back a little bit more detail on that. Now let's do some straightening on this, because I know for some reason the gimbal on this drone might have been hanging funny, so we're going to straighten this image out for sure. Maybe bring back a little bit of our scale, just so we can get a little bit more of our mountain in there. And we can use the generative fill to fill some of the edges of our image there. Maybe just push the exposure just a little bit more. I'm gonna go in, I think I'm gonna manually do the straightening on this, just because it looked like it got it close, but it just still wasn't quite right. Better. Okay. I'm just gonna adjust our scale just a little bit. And maybe just move it to the left a little bit. And we might go in on the scale because it lose a little bit of the house next door. Maybe just generative expand this image. Let's do some sharpening. Some masking. Just want to get those edges. You can tell that it's noise if you're looking in the sky and you kind of see some like white spots. You want to get as little of that as possible. And this was shot at 800 ISO, so we are going to have to denoise and sharpen on this image. Let's go and do some saturation on our greens. Just find some colors that we can pop in the image, maybe a little bit. Got our yellows. Maybe it's just the greens on this. Let's give it a little bit more pop. About playing with the scale on this and then maybe just pushing the image up just a little bit more. Oops. Something like that. We're going to turn off the rest of our layers. Hide our panel here. And I'm just going to fill this for the moment. I'm going to probably go in and replace that with another sky. But we might as well just get it clean and prepped before we start doing our sky replacements. Save that out. Same thing again, gotta order these because the brightness is out of order. We'll figure out, and we'll align our layers, of course. Wind was blowing. Okay, maybe right there's our starting point. Take this one above it, too, because we can smash those into each other. Okay, so first off, have it select our darks. Got us standing right there in the frame there. Okay, I brought it up just enough. And now let's take a look at our brights. It's mostly just gonna be that stuff right there. And because it's only a stop apart, you don't have to do any crazy exposure adjustments. I'm just gonna go into this file and I'm gonna pull down just a little bit on our highlights, just bring back a little bit more information from this image here. Okay on that. And now we're gonna merge our layers. Let's give it some contrast. Push our exposure up by about like 42. Push the shadows to taste. Push the blacks to taste. Go and doing some straightening. Okay. I'll do some sharpening. And we're just going to try and get it as around the edges of our objects as much as possible. We were not sharpening our noise as much. Go to our color mixer. Let's go to our luminance and let's pull down a little bit on this orange yellow. Bring back a little bit of that detail. Let's see, maybe pull a little bit down on our highlights, just a tad. We push up our exposure just a little bit. Let's push our greens, or green yellows. Make this scene pop a little bit. Okay, I think we need to do anything else to this image. I think it's looking pretty good. Obviously, we got to do noise. So we did have to shoot it at 800 ISO due to the wind. Maybe we adjust the scale of it a little bit. I'm happy with the scale on that. I'm just gonna go in with generative fill here, and I'm gonna have it remove us, me and my drone pilot standing there. That's Chris Rodriguez. Much better. Let's just see what options it gives us. If it gives us something a little bit more clean. That works. And we're going to save this out. Let's see how this one came out. And there's not going to be a whole lot of blending on this one, to be honest with you. Looks like just maybe 3 image files. And we may even have to sharpen this one because I know it was really hard to get the focus, because this basically is the city of downtown Denver, and there was a whole lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Smog coming off of the city. Maybe use this as our midpoint. Shot on a 70-200 millimeter lens, so I'm gonna make sure that things line up here. Okay, so basically this exposure needs to come down to stop, and I got a action that does that for me. This one needs to come up a stop. That way they'll blend together nicely. Alright, so let's have it select our darks here. And now let's have it select our brights. It's going to be our city lights. And on that one, I'm just going to go in and maybe just pull back a little bit more highlight information if I can. Usually I don't go past like 26 on this. So then it starts to look a little muddy. Okay. Merge our layers. So let's give it some contrast. And we're gonna really push our exposure on it. Maybe push our shadows quite a bit. We're gonna push our blacks a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go into effects here, and we're gonna give this a lot of dehaze because it was hazy as fuck. See if we can recover this image here. Keep pushing our exposure. And I'm going to keep pushing our whites there on this image because there aren't really any. See if I can figure out how to turn off those grid lines. They are getting a little bit in the way at the moment. Yeah, I just don't remember where they hide that. Or the grid. Oh, there it is. There it is. On off. I'm gonna remember that next time. Maybe let's go in and do some play in our color mixer. Right, the green blues, bring those up. Pop this image a little bit. Maybe the blue purples. I'm gonna keep pushing up on our exposure. Okay, then let's do some scale work. So I want to try and put the city more in the center of the frame there. I might do some scale work just one more time on that. Get it a little bit more in the center. So 50 megapixel image, you can basically go in and zoom in up to 400% before your image starts to degrade. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And then we're going to push up our frame. And that looks a lot more centered to me. And we're going to run this through Topaz Labs sharpening to see if we can recover some of that city there, because obviously the focus was not perfect on that because of the haze and the lighting situation and everything like that. But we're going to try and see if we can recover it after the fact. If not, we may just end up trashing this image. We'll see. Maybe just use those 3 images there to build that one. And I'm gonna have it align our layers to start. And our bright one needs to come down a stop. Our dark one needs to come up a stop. And I have actions to do that. Okay, so let's start with our dark frame here. We do got some people in the window there, but we can get them out with the AI, no problem. Okay, now let's go to our brights. And I don't think I'm really going to have to do a whole lot to the windows there, just because I have them kind of where I want them at. And I almost might just leave this a blue sky. We'll see what I do on the final image on this one. Pull down a little bit on our highlights. Have it merge our layers together here. Looks like we got a little bit of tree cleanup because the wind was just blowing so hard. Push our exposure up to about like 42, somewhere in there. And we're just gonna push our shadows until our shadows hit the area that we want them to be at. Wax, push up. Okay. Because I like to do my Twilights more on the moodier side of things. We're going to come to our color mixer here, and because I know that we got some highlight information that's warning us, we're going to go into this stuff and just pull a little bit of this down before we even hit the highlights there. Okay. Gonna have to do a whole lot. And we're going to pop our green blues. Maybe might pop the saturation of our oranges just a little bit. Maybe the blues a little bit. Blue magentas. Or purples. Maybe a little bit more on the green. Push up our exposure maybe just a little bit more. I'm going to pull down on our highlights a little bit here until those look pretty controlled. Okay, let's have it straighten this image. Do a little bit of sharpening. And I think I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of minor cleanup. And we're going to remove these brooms and stuff here. clean up whatever that is. And I'm gonna clean up this weird tree edging here. That's just from it blowing and it blurring in the frame. Let's see if we got anything else. This looks a little funky here too. Some weird edging. See, and I know we got a person sitting right here, so let's get that out of the window. We got another person sitting right there as well. One of the homeowners. Better. And then I'm just gonna search this frame for anything strange. Look okay. Okay, let's merge all these into this layer here. Let's go in and let's draw ourselves some fire. Options it gives me here. I'm just gonna go over this and just remove the log because that is a gas burning fire pit. Of course, it gave me more log. Sometimes you just can't win with the AI. That works. I'm just gonna check this frame for any little extra whatever. Get it just decently clean here. Do a little bit of spot healing. It looks like the wind blew this object over, so I'm just going to remove it completely. So what is the... Okay, that's just stone. That's fine. Alright, good enough on that. Looks like we only got a couple Twilights left. And we can start cleaning up our interiors and stuff like that. So first off, let's align these layers. Let's check and make sure. All right. Obviously, this is going to be our bottom. So let's bring this exposure down by a stop. Bring the exposure up by a stop. That way they blend together nicely. Let's go and select our darks. And we're going to blend these two frames together. And let's go in and let's select our brights. There's not a ton of. Yeah, I figured that was gonna happen. So probably, we're gonna skip that layer. Merge these layers. And delete this one actually. I'm gonna duplicate this layer. I'm gonna bring this dupe down by a whole stop. So we can recover some of our sky there. And then I'm gonna pull down on my highlights on the sky. Drag that down by like 26 about. Okay. And now we're gonna select our brights. Because those two are basically the same frame, we shouldn't have as much movement between our frames. Okay. We're still probably going to end up doing a sky replacement on that, but we'll do that on the JPEG instead of in the PSB here, just so I have how the image originally looks in case the client doesn't like the sky replacement that we do. And now we're just going to go in, give this some contrast. We're going to push our exposure. Push our shadows a little bit. Push our blacks a little bit. We're going to pull down on our highlights a little bit. We're going to do some straightening. We are going to do some sharpening. Okay, let's go into our color mixer menu. And we're gonna push our greens and our green blues, make this image pop a little bit more. Maybe pop our blues a little bit more, pop our purples. Alright, let's see. Clean up some stuff on the other side of the neighbor's house there. A little distracting. Okay, and we're going to attempt to remove this truck. I doubt it's going to get it, but we shall see. I actually did a really good job on that. Less distracting frame. And then we're going to remove the fire pit cover here that's sitting underneath the these chairs. Okay. We'll merge these layers. Go in and just get some of these things that are just sitting there and they're standing out. Okay. Do the selection brush. Fire. That one looks kind of realistic, actually. Guess we could have it generate again, see if it gives us something more. Let's see what all other options it gave us. I like this one. That one didn't look too bad. Looks pretty viable, actually. Go with these three. Start from this one here. Line our layers. And I may try and do a duplicate of this layer and bring this up by a whole stop. This one, there was just so much wind blowing that, maybe bring this down by a stop. Bring this up by a stop. We're just doing, sky and stuff like that. We'll see. Okay, so first let's start with our darks here. This is a weird selection. And select our brights. There shouldn't be a whole lot that's getting selected in that. Maybe just pull down the highlights on that a little bit. Yeah, and unfortunately the wind just blowing everything. Give it some contrast. And we're gonna probably push our exposure harder than we normally would. And I'm just kind of watching my shadows there until they're up a little bit higher in this area here. I'm gonna push my shadows. Decent amount of detail in the shadows there. Push the blacks a little bit. Okay, now let's take a look at our highlights here. Let's go into our color mixer first. Pull down on some of these yellow oranges or reds. Just bring back a decent amount of that detail. Let's go in. We're gonna pop our greens. Pop our orange yellows a little bit. Push our exposure a little bit more. Pull down on our highlights. Those look pretty tame. Controlled. Do some straightening. Do some sharpening. Maybe go in and pull down on the luminance of our blues in the sky here. And let's use our selection brush. We're just gonna orange fire. See what it gave us for options, and we'll just pick out the best one. Might redo that. So I don't think I got enough of it selected. Maybe a little bit down here too. A little bit above. Orange fire. Did not like that. Let's try again. That's better. That's actually really workable, actually. Actually, I like that, what it gave us there. Yeah, we're only gonna need 3 images for that. Use this as our bottom. Make sure that we don't have any movement there. Okay, so obviously we're gonna bring this down by a whole stop. Bring this one up by a whole stop. And we're gonna bring down, oops, don't want to save yet. Pull down our highlights. Okay. So let's start out with our darks here. Mix that right in. And that looks like it muddied it a lot. So we're gonna delete this layer, and we have a workaround for this because the wind was just too much. I'm gonna bring this one in there. I'm gonna bring this up by a whole stop. Because it's the same frame, we're not gonna have as much movement. I'm gonna blend these two together. Okay, that should be better. And then we're gonna have it select our brights. Looks like we're gonna have to ditch out on the sky on this layer because it's just gonna make things funky. It's okay though. Just to clean this up. Okay, let's merge these together. Give it some contrast. Push the exposure up to 42. Push our shadows to taste. Push our blacks to taste. Let's take a look at our highlight. Coming into our lumens channel here, and we're just gonna go with our orange yellows just a little bit. Not go too crazy with it. Gonna go after our yellow orange saturation to give that a little bit of a boost. And boost our green blues. Those pop. Maybe pop the blue purples. Just push those greens a little bit more. And then we're gonna pull our highlights down till our graph kind of starts to even out a little bit. Get some sharpening. We'll see if we'll replace the sky on that. Not sure if I'm going to yet, but we'll do that on the JPEG instead of the PSB. maybe just pull a little bit down on the luminance of the blues in our concrete here that I'm seeing. Okay. I'm really liking this image. And I can't remember if we went in and we straightened it or not, even though it does look pretty straight. Straighten. Maybe just bring the scale up just a little bit. Save that out. I don't know if we're gonna be able to save this image, we'll see. Okay, let's go to our PSBs. I'm gonna tell Photoshop kick these out at full resolution, at full quality. And we'll let these kick out for a minute. Okay. Back over to Bridge. Let's move these files over to our final files folder. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply my copyright information to the images. Okay. Then we're going to apply camera raw to all of these except for the Twilight ones. Those ones I know are straight and stuff like that. Go in and just tell it to straighten these in case these came back from our editing team and sometimes they don't come back as vertically straight as I would like them. Get done on that. Give that a second to generate. Now we're just gonna go in and check everything. That one looks good. That one looks good. When we're just checking our verticals. And make sure on this one that it didn't lock on. Oh, that one looks fine. Sometimes it'll lock onto furniture. this one. Yeah, I locked onto something funny on this one. Got this building. That should be straight for sure. Maybe we just go and draw a line on this door. And that should get us there. This one looks like we need to push our blacks and our shadows a little bit. They are just not bright enough. And pull down on the highlights a little bit. Better. Here. That looks straighter. This was a tough room to tell if it was straight because that line there, but these two are. Do the windows. It's usually you're trying to get something as close to the edge of the frame as possible. I wouldn't do it by that because that's probably not straight. Let's delete that line. Something not quite right. Oh, maybe do this one. And one of these way over here. I feel like this one needs maybe a little shadow push and maybe a little black push. Okay, we're gonna have to go in and fix the straightness on this one. Although that looks like it's fine without any straightening. Oh, and you just gotta turn the straightening off and that where it's supposed to be. Maybe go in and clean up some of these blue tones and that. Just a lot of blue tone cleanup, it looks like. But that's simple enough. has straightening issues. Around this just a little bit. Shadows a little bit more. Push the blacks a little bit more. A little bit of green in there we need to kill. It's a little off. Good. Fine. This one definitely messed up. No difference on that one. Not a ton of difference really, but it's straighter. We got one with the turkeys walking through it. We might have gone in A9 that, see if we can clean it up. They blurred a little bit. That's okay. These two are getting blended. Leave them as is. I think these are looking really good. Delete this one too. Okay. Take all these out and replace them. Give it a minute for these to kick out. Okay, those are all kicked out. Let's refresh that folder. We're gonna go in and I'm just gonna replace all of this stuff. Now let's replace. And we're just gonna open everything up and we're gonna do all the cleanup or any sky replacements that we would do. Okay, let's go. Sky replacement. We're just gonna play with it, see if it's worthwhile to do some sky replacement on any of it. See if it improves the mood of the photo. Obviously, we're not gonna do that sky because I have some Twilight skies and stuff like that. Probably not a sunset. Playing with these. That's not half bad. I don't mind that one. Playing with what we got. You can also move the positioning of it and stuff like that. I don't like that actually. We'll just add a little bit of brightness to our sky. Maybe bring up our foreground lighting just a little bit. Maybe add a little bit more color adjustment. I like that. That's not half bad. Flatten that real quick. Probably leave that one the way that it is. This one we might do some sky replacement on. Some bluer. if we flip this one? We're going kind of like that way. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe a little bit more towards the blue spectrum. Push the foreground lighting a little bit. A little bit more color adjustment on everything. Like that. Good. Bit more foreground lighting. Love it. Okay, this one, that one's going into an AI to see if we can get the sky in there. Flip. That's fine. So I might do a different sky. Same. That works. I like that. And brightness. And then we'll run that through AI to get out the noise and sharpen it. Love it. Alright. Pop it. Maybe choose different sky. Brightness. Background lighting, boost that up a little bit. Epic. now we're just going through and looking for anything that needs to be cleaned up or removed. Any of these shots. Okay, we're standing there in this one. I'm gonna get us out of there. Good enough. Let's do our selection brush. Works. Out of this one as well. Looks like maybe somebody's standing back there, but I'll have to double check that when I zoom in. Get rid of that. Lasso it. Polygonal lasso it. Get it gone. Let's see, I think that is a person, but let's double check. No, it's a dog. There is a person there. Let's get him gone. And there's another person that's like lighting the fire pit back there. Okay, they're gone. Get you out of there. And then let's grab our selection brush. Orange fire. Same thing there. Orange fire. All that good. Okay. This image needs straightening. Yeah, I knew it wasn't straight. That's better. I might reopen that one because I think I want to get that cat tower out of there. Bye. I'm just gonna. There we go. Good. Good. Okay, these are getting stitched together. Come back to those here in a minute. Okay, now I'm gonna go in. We're gonna fix these turkey heads. Yeah. Turkey head. I think I got one more turkey in there. Although I might just remove him completely because he just blurred all together. That looks better. All Actually, we got one more turkey hanging out in this bush here, and I'm guessing his head probably blurred too. That's what it gave me for options here. That works. I like it. It's the one without the turkeys. That's fine. I'm gonna remove that cover underneath the seat here. Let's see if we can get this truck out of this frame. No, benzene. Get that car out probably too. Good. Good. Maybe just kill the trash can. And that did something funky there. We just wanted, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Good. 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 Are chickens in there? Let me zoom in, see if they blurred at all, or might have blurred a little bit. Might zoom in and just go and throw some chicken heads. Yeah, because their heads blurred a little bit. Looks like there's one more over here. Let's see if he... Yeah, they just all blurred. That works. And maybe I'll just go in and we'll do some spot healing. Chickens do make a little bit of a mess. That looks pretty decent to me. Same thing here, just gonna do a little bit of cleanup. Go too crazy with it. And we'll move this out of our last couple shots. I think we'll get it out of here as well. Pretty clean to me, so we'll close that out. Getting pretty clean. I'm gonna see if it'll throw a drawer over that just because there was a cat box in there. That works. Maybe remove this as well. Leave that. That looks like it belongs. That's kind of out of place though, the paper towel. Good enough. Good. 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 Maybe just remove a little bit of this here. Good enough. On this, probably remove this stuff on this upper shelf here if I can easily. This. Yeah, that looks really clean. I like that. That looks good. 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 There's something hanging out underneath the bed there. And then grab these stuffed animals probably. Okay, good. Okay. Just a little spot healing on this door. Bunch of things. Bunch of scrapes or something like that. Good enough. Shadows just a little bit on this because they seem a little under. I'm going to use my action panel here because I have something to help me remove tones that really shouldn't be in my image. And we're just going to go in and paint side here because there really shouldn't be any blue in any of that or any of this right here. Okay, good enough. Okay, do it again here. Paint along these countertops, get that blue out. Same thing here, try to remove some of our blue in this floor. Right here as well. Good enough. That one's fine. That one is fine. That one's fine. This one has some blue in it. It shouldn't be there. That. I'm gonna remove this as well, this dock roll down here. Okay, good enough. Use again. Mainly just in certain spots. There shouldn't be any blues in this wall. I go through and hit this stuff too. Good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine. Better. Let's run down the yellows. No, run down the blues. Fine. Down the blues. done. Moving some wires there. See how it does. Did a pretty decent job there. Missed the plug there, but other than that, it did a pretty good job. I'm gonna remove this cat tower if it'll let me. See how good of a job it does here. Did a pretty good job removing that, actually. Maybe see if we could do this a couple other. I guess shadow's a little funky, but whatever. Okay, this one I would use the wire remove option, but I think I'm just gonna do that because I think it'll grab my chandelier up there and do funny things to it. Okay, good enough. And this is a different house that I did earlier in the day. Let's see if we can get some of this junk on. Remove some of this junk again on this one. rid of that ladder. Not gonna do a whole lot of cleanup on this one, just because this house is probably gonna get scraped. Anything that's like really obnoxiously out of place, like this gas canister. Can do much there. Let's see what we can do here. That is a whole lot of junk there. See what it gives me here. Let's have it up-res that a little bit. That out. Adjust the trash can on this one. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. See if this is going to be worthwhile or if it's going to be a waste of time. Got it pretty good, actually. Makes it a little bit more open. Maybe just the trash can and this thing here. Good enough. Good. Good. And maybe just that basket and that trash can thing there. Okay, we still gotta merge these two together. Very good. Let's go in and do straightening on it. Very nice. And we'll save it out. Actually, I think I'll flatten this. Flatten image. And we'll save it as JPEG. Let's go to Final Files. Save it as this one. I'll have to replace it. Call that good. Okay. Back to bridge here. Let's clear out this image now. And we're gonna make a folder for our second job there. 610 2025 underscore 2. We're gonna separate out our images here. And we're just gonna go in. Let's close Photoshop. We're going to open denoise. Photoshop here. I don't think any of the DSLR ones really had any noise in it, but the aerial ones for sure. Grab all of these. Have it remove any colored noise reduction. all these to run really quick. These should kick out super fast because we're running two 3080s and a Titan X. Preferences here, make sure it's recognizing. No, we don't want CPU, we want all GPUs. Give it a second to run through all of these and denoise these files. While that's running, I'm gonna go grab a drink of water here. Okay, that's done. Let's close those out. Then I'm just gonna refresh this folder. Go to all of our ones that had high noise, and we're just gonna compare the originals against the ones that got denoised, right? That looks better. It's like the day ones didn't have too much noise on them. These look like it did a really good job on cleaning those up. Then we'll just go in and sharpen them. Yeah, because I don't even notice a lot of that noise that was in those mountains. Okay. Go to sharpening. And we'll see if we can save some of these images. Most of it's just going to be our aerial stuff. cityscape. Just gonna have it select all of them. Give it a second to catch up. Let's go over to preferences here. Make sure we got our processing set to all GPUs. That way this will kick out pretty quickly. Just let it look at the images. I mean, what I might have it do here is have it select the subject and go in and sharpen the subject as well. Due to the wind, some of these may be out of focus. Hold 0 on that, have it zoom out. It looks like my webcam jammed. Turn that off, turn it back on. Let's hit save on these. Arm format. Hit start on these. Just let it crank.
Monkey things.
Okay. Alright, that's all done. What's that out? Refresh our stuff here. We're just going to compare our images that got modified. Noise gone. Yeah, it looks like a much cleaner image. A little bit sharper too. Go through and delete all the second images. Yeah, it sharpened it a little bit. Noise is gone too. Let's see if this one got any better. Might just run just that image through maybe one more time. It's for sure out of focus. Very noisy too. Do selection. If we're lucky, it'll select our cityscape, right? And of course it selected the tree. Alright, let's clean this up. First off, let's zoom out. We are not going to be selecting any of that tree at all. Update. We're gonna hit Control 0. only thing we care about is getting our city back. Let's save this out again. Okay, so after it's not a ton of difference really. Okay, let's go over to stuff here. We empty the recycling bin. Go over to my Matterport. So we're going to go over to our delivery system. We use Spiro to do our deliveries. And let's go over to our orders. So we're going to course photographer completed. Let's go and manage this. Create our delivery page. All right, so first things first, let's add our 3D tour. Let's add a schematic floor plan page. PB concept. Let's check and see where we're at with this. Okay, so this is ready. So I'm gonna download these. Extract these. We're gonna go schematic floor plan. We'll go ChatGPT. Type in total square feet. Some have it total to square foot. For scanning floor plans. Yeah, we have to be more selective. I don't know why it wants me to do that. Try again. I have to go to a different AI. Square feet. Now let's do this total square feet. Let's get our stuff. Square feet. And I'm gonna give it a minute to look at that stuff and work on that. Actually, it's already spitting it out. That's pretty fast, actually. Right, so we're just gonna copy and paste our text information onto our floor plans here because I had Grok AI total the square footage of it. hide our action panel here. Let's see what floor this is. This is floor 1, I believe. Bring this tab over here on my second monitor so I can read it here. So it looks like it's considering this floor 4. And this place had 5 floors on it. But this is a proof of concept that you can use, like QB their light version, and you can run the dimensions from that into like Grok AI or ChatGPT and have it total the square footage for you. Okay, let's see. Let's find the one with garage here. Give me a second here. I'm going through the dimensions here. Okay, so it's this one. I'm gonna have to subtract out the garage, it looks like there. Okay, so grab this. We'll have to make our text black there. Have to take that amount and subtract it from the square feet of the garage there. This garage is normally included in finished square footage. We got 1,115.82 minus 745 and 44. Do it again. I missed a number. No, it's punching it into the calculator. 5.82 minus 745.44. All right, so that floor technically is only 370. 0.38 square feet. Okay, and then we'll grab the amount for the garage there, and we're gonna put that below that. Whoops. Garage, and that was 745 and 44 square feet. I'm gonna update this because I just like to have that together as one thing when I do it on my stuff. Okay. Just keep these open, just because I'm gonna have to flow in between these. Okay, so this one. So we'll come back to these numbers. Okay, we got that one. So this one has wet bar. Let's find that. Where is that at? Okay, so this one. Okay, now we gotta find one that's primary bedroom and hall. Let's find that. Is it 13.3 by 14.3? That one. It's a wick on it. This one. Okay. Okay, so this one has a laundry on it. So I found it. At least this one has the floors labeled, so this one I can just kind of go in and grab. That'll make it easier. Floor 1. Go to floor 1, copy and paste that. Let's grab floor 2. Two. Let's go floor 3. That should say 3 instead of 2. Floor 4. I'm guessing this is the one with the garage. Yeah, it is. So we can actually go over to this. Move the garage here. And just copy this. And then below that, we can do floor 5. It's going to move this where it can be read nicely. Just stretch it down a little bit and then all that good. Just start closing all these out with our updated dimensions on there. So that's all updated. All right, let's come back to our delivery stuff. And we're going to upload our floor plan. These are all the ones with dimensions. We're just going to check them over. Actually, I think the only thing I forgot to leave off on this one was the total square feet. And I'm going to go back and add that. Good enough. Actually, I'm going to go in to make sure that my text for square feet matches. Okay, good enough. Let's close that out. All right, now let's do some delivery stuff. Upload the ones without dimensions as well. Okay, let's go back to orders. Now let's get our address information here. final files folder. Address in our stuff. Grab our client information so we can start batch renaming our files. Let's go in and start batch renaming our images. I'm gonna do it in order that I think they should be delivered in. Aerials there. Let's find some day shots, do our turkey one and the one without the turkeys in it. We got a couple day aerials. And then let's go into our interiors here. Name these. Exteriors. We've got all of our aerial stuff left. Let's have our Twilights first. Let these kick out real quick. Lost our music there for a second. Okay. Looks like those are done. Okay. Let me go and grab our other client's information. Timothy Choi. Let's grab our address. Where to go? There it is. All right, we're gonna rename our folder the property address. We're gonna get our client's first and last name. We just have and start kicking these out. All right, well, that's going to be it for the stream here, because I got to do actual, like, deliverables and everything like that. But thanks for joining the stream here, and we'll see you guys again next time.